Glenn Beck, as far as I can remember, is a old TV personality that is currently sundowning on YouTube, having, I'm assuming, fallen from grace from mainstream cable television, and has started his own company, Blaze TV. We've actually reviewed a couple of videos from Blaze TV where Roaming Millennial or Lauren Chen spoke on them. I think Sydney Watson made an appearance. I'm not 100% sure. But this video is of Glenn Beck, or he is the one speaking. And it's entitled, New Evidence Suggests Some West Coast Wildfires Were Started by Arson. Ooh, the rumor that's been circulating around boomers on Facebook that are convinced. They're convinced that Antifa and BLM are lighting the country on fire to as political tools of the left to push the climate change narrative, which is definitely happening, but these wildfires aren't from that. Let's take a look and see what they have to say.
I don't know if you saw the news yesterday. Now, this is a record. Now, why? Why would these records be being broke all the time? Well, it's climate change is getting so bad right now. Is it?
Yes, it is. Yes, climate change is getting significantly worse. We have about, science has said we have about 7 years to make drastic changes before we hit a point of no return with our climate. Summers have been getting longer. They've been getting hotter. This summer in Death Valley, they reached a record temperature on the surface of planet Earth of 130 degrees. LA was in 120s. And I used to live in Southern California, San Diego area, and it never got up to 120 degrees. I was like 9 or 10 when we moved. So it's been almost 20 years since I moved, but it never used to get that hot. Up here in Washington, it never used to reach triple digits in the summer, and now it's doing it every single year. Actually, I don't think it did it this year, but they definitely set those records down in California. And every single year, wildfire season has been getting worse and worse because there's been less precipitation. It's been hotter, so underbrush and dead foliage has been dying, causing worse fires. Yes, climate change is getting that bad, and we need to do something about it now.
On Monday, wildfires destroyed in Washington state alone 330,000 acres of brush and timber.
Yes.
Now, one reason these things happen, not climate change, is because the wildlife and the Forest Service, they're not allowed to do what everyone who's ever lived around forests and trees know you have to do. You have to have controlled burns. If you don't, lightning strikes and it burns the whole thing down because that's the way nature does it.
Are controlled burns actually illegal in Washington state? Burn bans, prescribed fires. Give me 1 second. Oh, that's not the right button. Using a burn barrel is illegal. Increase the number of intentional low intensity. Yeah, so in 2019, yeah. So controlled burns are not illegal in Washington. That's a straight up lie, and it took me a 30-second Google search. You're a TV personality turned YouTuber. You should be able to look things up before you spew this bullshit on YouTube, dude.
So you have controlled burns. So when there's a lightning strike, it doesn't happen. But no, it's natural to have all of that underbrush. No, it's not.
And we don't. But we do control burns here in Washington. I just looked it up. It's not illegal. They still do it. Things are getting drier faster than we can compensate for, and everything's burning.
But that's not what's going on. On Monday, 58 fires started in Washington state. 58. Yes. 9 significant fires. Well, yesterday, in a press conference, the State Public Lands Commissioner, Hilary Franz, said 58 fires across the state were started on Monday. We were able to put most of them out. An estimated 330,000 acres of our state burned in just 24 hours.
They were able to put most of those 58 fires out? Speaks to the effectiveness of the fire departments in the areas. Good job, guys.
More acres burned yesterday than in 12 of the last entire fire seasons in Washington state.
Yeah. Shit's getting worse. Fast. That directly speaks to climate change. Things have been getting hotter and drier here in Washington for decades. Even since I moved up here, we've had many summers where we've had very few days of rain, and Washington is known for rain. Every time Seattle or Washington State in general is portrayed in TVs and movies, it's always raining. Yet we've had less and less rainfall every single year because of climate change. Things are getting hotter, things are getting drier, just like science is telling us it would.
She said, quote, "We believe today that all of these are human-caused in some dimension."
Is that true? I know it's not, but we're going to go ahead and Google it because it's fun to disprove them live. All right. Arson charges in Washington State. That'll probably give us something. Were the Washington fires arson? Western U.S. wildfires are not the result of widespread arson. Climatefeedback.org. You could cite it in a scholarly paper. Claim distressing number of these fires are not accidents. Willful arson is the cause. And the FBI Portland, so this is about Portland, is saying that it's untrue. There have been multiple outlets where law enforcement is getting frustrated and having to dispel these rumors that these fires are started. Let's see, state by arson, and they're getting false tips about it. People turning in neighbors they don't like, and they're having to fight back against this narrative. Mercury News. Arson rumors spread on social media. This is from the 11th. Urge Washington residents to stop. Shut up. It hid the article from me. Urge Washington residents to stop spreading rumors. Yeah, so I can't read that, but yeah, it's saying that they're rumors and to stop spreading them. It's fact check. Oregon fires were not set by Antifa. Okay, yeah, but that's enough. So it's not
58 true. Fires, all set on Monday. According to Hilary Franz, it's not climate change.
None of the rumors that I have seen have claimed that all of the fires, like you just said, were started by arson. In fact, none of them were. At least according to the FBI and other law enforcement agencies. There was a fire in California started by pyrotechnics from a gender reveal party, but that doesn't I don't believe that qualifies as arson. It wasn't intentionally set. It was accidentally set by human cause, sure, but that's not arson. At least as far as I know, the definition of arson doesn't meet it. But yeah, that what you're saying, this narrative you're pushing, is absolutely untrue.
It was started by humans either being stupid or arson. Now, how dare you? Have you not seen PolitiFact? Have you not seen the news gods that have told us, bow down, don't you dare say there's any arson going on. There's nothing. And if you say it's arson, how dare you even say that these peaceful protesters with Antifa have anything to do with fire?
Why can't they say it right? It's Antifa. anti-fascists. It's not Antifa. And this is more of that fucking the mainstream media's fake news. Don't believe anything that you see. Only listen to us. That the right-wing demagogues like to push. It's stupid. Don't fall for it. They're all doing it, and it's very obvious. The FBI and law enforcement, the groups that these people lick the boot of regularly, are all saying that it wasn't arson. It's not just PolitiFact. It's not just the news media. There have been literal tweets from the FBI. We saw them on screen saying they weren't arson and to stop spreading those rumors.
Yes, they'll set our cities on fire. Yes, they're calling for revolution, but they wouldn't do that. That's just...
They're not setting our cities on fire. A handful of buildings have burned. I've talked about this before, but yeah. This is the cities are burning, our country's on fire because of BLM. That's their narrative. They're pushing it, and it's bullshit. We know it's bullshit.
It's over the top. Well, I asked my staff to see if there was any evidence on fires. And I don't mean evidence from Twitter. I mean evidence. Is there anybody who's been arrested for arson? Is there anybody that's been arrested for mischief with fire? Here they are. And YouTube and Facebook, go ahead. I want you to
He's gonna whine that he's gonna get censored. Oh my god, they're all doing it. Oh god, they want to be oppressed so badly. Oh, they want to be oppressed so hard. God, it's disgusting. It's hilarious, but it's also pathetic.
To demonetize this clip, I want you to somehow or another say that we're lying. I want you to throttle it. Go ahead. Because then you're going to have to explain what we got wrong. And I happen to have all the documents right here. So my attorney is really ready for that dethrottling or demonetization. You say you're a protector of the truth? Great.
You can't sue for YouTube demonetizing you or age restricting your video. Prager, you already tried. And they're backed by oil billionaires. I'm sure you are too. But you can't sue for that. But go on.
Here it is. First one, Washington State, Jeffrey Accord, 36, Puyallup, Washington, September 9th, a BLM activist.
September 9th, the BLM
One count of reckless burning, second degree, transferred and charged with one count, burglary, no reported damage, according to Accord's history of anti-police protests.
Okay, so this wasn't a wildfire that was started. There was no damage, and it was burglary. Okay, so a radical, which every single group has. They have their outliers, their crazies, sure. I'm not saying that BLM doesn't have those. Every group does. But he got caught burglarizing and potentially trying to set fire to a house. That's not a wildfire.
And the encounters with law enforcement, he was arrested during the Ferguson riots in Missouri.
Okay.
Christine Camello, 36, Spokane, Washington, September 7th. No known political affiliation. One count, second-degree arson.
The wildfires aren't in Spokane. They're on this side of the Cascades. This woman committed arson, but it is not linked to the wildfires. Go on.
One count, first-degree arson. One count, burglary.
A house. Again, this is not a wildfire. Holy shit.
In Oregon, Domingo Lopez, 45. Portland, September 14th. Reckless burning, second-degree disorderly conduct. All the fires were caught early. No one was injured. No structures were damaged.
Structures in Portland. Portland is not a forest. There were no wildfires in Portland. Now, that is where some of the most intense protests are, and things do get lit on fire. Usually trash cans or burn barrels are lit on fire. Not generally buildings, but this was in a major city where there are no forests. Not a forest fire, not a wildfire. These aren't related to what you're talking about.
He was charged with using a Molotov cocktail to start a brush fire in the wildfire-devastated state, then busted again.
A Molotov cocktail in Portland to start a wildfire in a major metropolitan city to start a... Okay.
He was released on his own recognizance and then busted again hours later for going back and starting 6 more fires. Michael Gerard.
Again, that's not... Portland didn't have wildfires. There were wildfires in Oregon, but not the city of Portland.
Bacella, 41. September 8th, Phoenix, Oregon. 2
So
counts
we're
of
on
first-degree
3,
arson.
4.
15 counts of first-degree
Where was this? Where was this?
fires.
We're at
Michael
4.
Gerard Bacella, 41. September 8th, Phoenix, Oregon. 2 counts of first-degree arson. 15 counts of first-degree criminal mischief. 14 counts of reckless endangerment. 2 deaths. 50 people are still unaccounted for. It's burned more than 5,700 acres, destroyed 700 structures.
So that is the first one that he has been able to link to these wildfires that are across 3 states. And he's given, this is his 5th example. And he's trying to say that 59 fires in Washington state were started by arson. This is the first one that could plausibly, or at least based on the report that he has, be connected to wildfires. Out of the 5 he's listed, this is the first one.
He was arrested for a probation violation on an original charge of unlawful possession of methamphetamines. Oh, by the way, go ahead. Are you thinking about demonetizing us yet? YouTube, Facebook, you thinking about it? 'Cause
God, you want to be oppressed so hard. It's pathetic. God, you're such a fucking beta. Holy shit. Why do you need to be oppressed? Why do you need to have these big companies need to keep you down and try to cry that they're limiting your free speech despite the fact that they're not the government? You're getting so mad. It's so fucking funny.
have all the arrest documents right here. Jason Moss, 44, the Dexter State Recreation Area fire. September 9th, arrested for first-degree arson. He burned down 145 acres. He allegedly started a fire in the woods near the Frisbee golf course. More than 40,000 Oregonians have been evacuated. 500,000 are in different levels of evacuation zones because of Jason Moss. But no, there's no arson. What are you talking about?
Okay, so you're at 2.
In California, in
Maybe.
Monterey County, Anita Esquivel, 37. She was arrested September 11th. Very little is known about the specifics. Rumors have circulated that she has connections to Antifa and intentionally set the fires for that cause, but we do not know.
So that one can't be attributed to it. Rumors are not admissible in court. So you're at 2 out of what are we on? 8, 7? 2 out of 7. Not exactly batting 1,000 here, buddy.
The district attorney has dismissed the suggestions that she had ties to the far left groups such as Antifa. Then there's Osman.
Hey, you said it right. It took you 5 tries, but you said it right.
Palencia, 36. He's homeless, no known political affiliation, several arrest warrants. He surrendered to police. 1 felony count of arson during a state emergency. 1 felony count of arson of a structure. He
burned a structure.
4,237 acres.
Okay, so he lit a building on fire, and it caught the surrounding area on fire. You're sure, but how is this guy connected to Antifa? You even admitted yourself that they can't connect him to there. So it sounds like a dumbass that lit a fire and it caught the surrounding area on fire. Does not speak towards your narrative, so I'm not counting that one. You're still at 2 for 8. Or 2 for 9 now.
Noel Lopez Mejia, 47, Helmet, California. No known political affiliation. 10 arson counts. 10 allegations of setting the blazes during a state emergency. 40 charged acres. In exchange for a plea, he received a prison sentence of 17 years and 4 months. Freddie Owen Graham.
So, again, not connected to Antifa, no political affiliation. So doesn't speak to your narrative, and he burned 40 acres. Bad, but it's not these widespread wildfires that you're talking about. But again, not connected to Antifa, this narrative that you're trying to push.
68, Kansas City, Missouri to San Jose, California. No political affiliation is known. 13 counts of arson to forest land. 2 counts of arson during a state emergency. He burned approximately 128 acres. No injuries or structural damage.
So if millions of acres have burned, and the last 2 that you've listed was 40 acres and 130 something, those are tiny compared to what's going on. And again, we're at 2 out of, I think we're at 10 now that could be connected to Antifa. You've got another 3 minutes to connect to make, 54? I believe it was 56. So 54 more people that have lit these fires.
He apparently had flown in from Missouri and then rented a car, which he used to drive along the road in Santa Clara County, and he started fires on his way to his 50th high school reunion. By the way, that report came from CNN. You want to demonetize them too? Then there's Ivan Geronimo Gomez, 30, Monterey, California, August 18th. He's suspected starting the Dolan fire, which has taken down 117,242 acres. 40% of it has been contained as of 9/14. He was arrested and booked in the Monterey County Jail on suspicion of arson of forest lands. His bail was set at $2 million.
Okay, so he's booked on suspicion. What evidence do they have? And, okay, you have one major fire out of the 56 you were whining about earlier. So, is he connected to Antifa? Let's assume, sure, just for your benefit, we are at 3 now out of the 11 that you've, or 12 now that you've given.
Those are just the few that I can actually just grab the arrest warrants and the arrest records.
So you're at 3 out of 12. That's a quarter of them. That's a quarter of the people that you just listed off that may be connected to Antifa and may have started fires. And millions of acres are burning. And you're trying to push this narrative that Antifa is lighting all of these forest fires to bring awareness to climate change. No, climate change is the main culprit here. Isolated incidents, sure. One major fire, sure. But millions of acres have burned this year alone because of forest fires. And we had the same thing happen last year. Massive forest fires. And the year before. Antifa wasn't in the news then. They weren't making the rounds then. BLM wasn't going on then. Yet this time you have to connect it to Antifa because it fits your political narrative you're trying to push. That's pretty sad, dude. This is a really sad video. How much shit you have like directly gotten wrong. And how loose these connections you're trying to draw are to push your narrative. You know, coming from mainstream television, I expected better. I get it, you're sundowning over here, you're old, losing your edge, but it looks like you've got a whole studio here. You must have a team of writers and researchers. I'm sure they could do better than this. Come on, man.
You want to tell us, politic fact, how you came to the conclusion and called the idea that there was arson in these fires? Can you tell me how you came to that conclusion? Because your fact check seems to be entirely false.
No. The rumor is that all of these fires, or a majority or a significant portion of the millions of acres worth of forest fires that are burning, were started by Antifa. You found 3 people that were connected to wildfires and may have connections to Antifa. Out of the 56 you listed, the number you rattled off at the beginning of the video. Yeah. The rumor still, I would consider that to be a false rumor. 3 individuals out of 56 fires you talked about may have been connected to Antifa. That does not make the rumor that all of these wildfires, or a majority of these wildfires, are being lit by Antifa true. Doesn't work. It doesn't fit your narrative, even if you try to force it in there. You are forcing a square peg in a round hole to try and get a gotcha and own the libs. It's not working. It is not fucking working.
You want to know the truth? You have to do a little digging yourself, and you cannot believe everything that anyone says. And I do not, in fact, I insist that you do not believe the things that I say just because I say them.
Oh, don't worry. I don't. I don't believe you, Glenn.
You have to make the truth your own by doing your own research. And yes, it's perilous to do that. But you're smart enough to figure out what is an initial source, what is a credible source, and...
Hang on. How is it perilous to Google things? You can Google straight up you can Google 9/11 was an inside job and nothing is going to happen to you. So Googling facts about a current event that is going on to get the answers for yourselves is not going to give you some negative reaction or negative consequences from the government. How is it perilous to get answers? You did it. Are you arrested? Seem to be sitting in a chair just fine. I mean, I know you're whining about being demonetized and trying so hard to be oppressed, but you're not getting arrested. You're not getting beaten. You're not in some black site in the middle of nowhere America getting waterboarded. They're not putting the screws to you for getting the truth out there. It's not perilous to Google things. Why are you fear-mongering so bad, trying to scare your audience into thinking that the government is coming to oppress them so badly under a far right-wing Republican administration with a Republican-controlled Senate and a Republican-controlled or conservative-controlled Supreme Court? How are you and people who have the same political ideologies as you oppressed in the country that is being run by your own people? You are fear-mongering so badly to scare people into voting the way you want them to by distorting facts and giving out misleading information. It's despicable. It's disgusting. And you should be ashamed of yourself.